Members of the Dutch royal family continue their visit to the island of Sint Maarten. Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg visits a museum in Wiltz. And King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain begin their state visit to Angola. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Alexandra, and this is your Royal Daily News for February 7th, 2023. Their Majesties King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain arrived at the 4 de Fevereiro International Airport in Luanda, Angola last evening to begin their first state visit to Angola at the invitation of the President of the Republic of Angola, Mr. João Lourenço. Accompanying their Majesties on their 3-day state visit is the Spanish Minister of Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation, Mr. José Manuel Albares. This morning, their Majesties, accompanied by the Angolan Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Tete Antonio, visited the Antonio Agostinho Neto Memorial in the capital city of Luanda. Whilst at the memorial of the former President of Angola, their Majesties placed a wreath at the foot of the memorial and observed a moment of silence. Thereafter, their Majesties were given a tour of the memorial and signed the Book of Honor. Soon, their Majesties arrived at the Presidential Palace in Luanda, where they were greeted by the President of the Republic of Angola, Mr. João Lourenço, and First Lady Ana Afonso Dias. After the official welcoming ceremony, which included the inspection of the Guards of Honor, the playing of the national anthems, and a 21-gun salute, the President and the First Lady ushered their Majesties into the Presidential Palace for a photo op for the press. Prior to noon, His Majesty the King held a meeting with the President, while Her Majesty the Queen held a meeting with the First Lady and, quote, women leaders from Angolan civil society. During their meeting, Her Majesty and the First Lady and guests discussed education as a factor of empowerment, end quote. Prior to a private luncheon, His Majesty the King and the President exchanged gifts, as well as orders and decorations. His Majesty the King presented the President and the First Lady with a collar and the Grand Cross of the Order of Civil Merit. In return, His Majesty the King received the Grand Collar of the Order of Agostinho Neto. In the afternoon, their Majesties attended a presentation of the Kwanzaa International University held at the headquarters of the Banco Económico in the city of Quito. The CIU recently joined the network of institutions collaborating with the Fundación Universidad Ibero-Americana. Thereafter, their Majesties attended the inauguration of an exhibition by Spanish artist Joan Miro, held at the headquarters of the Banco Económico and organized by the Fundación Universidad Ibero-Americana. In the evening, their Majesties attended a reception with 500 Spanish citizens residing in Angola. In Amman, His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Al Hussein bin Abdullah II of Jordan arrived at the Royal Cemetery to visit the tomb of the late King Hussein bin Talal of Jordan on the occasion of the 24th anniversary of his death. Several royal family members, senior officials, and officers also visited the tomb, according to the Royal Hashemite Court. In the afternoon, His Majesty the King and the Crown Prince participated in a meeting at Al Husseiniya Palace, whereupon they were briefed on the government's program to implement the economic modernization vision in the water, irrigation, and environment sectors. During the meeting, His Majesty the King stressed the importance of focusing on strategic projects, such as a national water conveyor to counter water and environmental challenges related to climate change. In Dhaka, Her Majesty Queen Mathilde of the Belgians, in her capacity as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals advocate, continued her 3-day official visit to Bangladesh. This morning, Her Majesty the Queen visited the Kutu Palong refugee camp located in the Cox's Bazar. The Kutu Palong refugee camp is the largest refugee camp in the world, with roughly 800,000 inhabitants. More than half of the refugees are Rohingya peoples, many under the age of 18 who fled the brutal country of Myanmar due to religious and ethnic persecution. According to the Belgian Royal Court, during her visit, Her Majesty the Queen spent time with women and girls who are, quote, particularly vulnerable in the refugee camp, whereupon she learned about the various projects that had been implemented for women's emancipation and to improve the position of women in the camp, end quote. Her Majesty the Queen also met with volunteer doctors and nurses at the camp to learn more about the mental well-being of the Rohingya. In the afternoon, Her Majesty the Queen visited the Safe 2 program, an initiative of the World Health Organization, the United Nations Refugee Agency, the World Food Program, and the Food and Agriculture Organization. The goal of Safe 2 is to protect the degraded ecosystem while improving the resilience of refugee households. The day ended with Her Majesty the Queen visiting an eco-friendly facility that treats, fecal sludge. The facility sustainably processes the sludge and minimizes the health risks of its management. In Brussels, His Majesty King Felipe of the Belgians held an audience this morning with the President of the Special Olympics, Professor Thierry Zintz, at the Palais Royal. This morning's meeting was held regarding the upcoming Special Olympic National Games, which will take place in May in the city of Malines. The Special Olympic World Games will take place in June in Berlin, Germany. Meanwhile, His Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg visited the new Fire Brigade Museum in Wiltz. According to the Corps Grand Ducal, in 2018, 4 veteran firefighters from the National Federation of Firefighters wanted to create a museum to honor the brave men and women of Luxembourg fire departments, as well as to tell the history of their profession. In 2019, the association Friends of the Firefighters Museum was established to raise money to purchase a permanent building for the museum, or purchase a building for a new permanent museum. Anyway, eventually the municipality of Wiltz stepped in and pitched in some more money. As a result, in 2022, the new Fire Brigade Museum opened its doors to the public. On the island of Sint Maarten, Their Majesties King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, accompanied by their daughter, Her Royal Highness Princess Catharina-Amalia, Princess of Oranje, continued their 2-week official visit to the Dutch Caribbean. This morning, the royal family visited Fort Amsterdam. Built in 1631, Fort Amsterdam is known for its cute little pelicans that breed in the area annually. According to RVD, the royal family spent the better half of the morning on a bird expedition in, quote, search of the brown pelican, the national bird of the island. An image of the brown pelican can also be seen on the coat of arms of Sint Maarten. After the expedition, the royal family received an explanation about the history of Fort Amsterdam. In the afternoon, the royal family visited the In No Plastic Science Fair project. Whilst there, they met with primary school and high school students who presented their solutions to the plastic waste problem on the island of Sint Maarten. According to RVD, the In No Plastic project is an, quote, EU initiative in collaboration of 17 partners and 10 different countries in Europe and in the Caribbean. The In No Plastic project focuses on innovative approaches to the prevention, removal, and reuse of plastic stray waste in the sea. End quote. The royal family also visited the Agricultural in Schools Project 2022, held in the gardens at the Amelia Wilson Park. In Bangkok, Their Majesties King Rama X and Queen Soothida of Thailand held a farewell audience this afternoon with the ambassador of Cuba to the Kingdom of Thailand, His Excellency Héctor Conde, and his wife, Mrs. Thelma Alina Conde, at Duset Palace. The ambassador is retiring after 5 happy years as the official representative of Cuba in the Kingdom of Thailand. In Abu Dhabi, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the ruler of Abu Dhabi, held an audience this morning with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, at Al Bahr Palace. During their meeting, discussions focused on, quote, several topics of concern to the United Arab Emirates citizens, including the potential for maximizing state gains and advancing the ambitious developmental strategy adopted by UAE leaders to accomplish the aspirations of UAE nationals. End quote. In Sharjah, His Highness Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Mohamed Al Qasimi, the ruler of Sharjah, as a president of the University of Khorfakkan, held a meeting with a delegation from the University of Exeter. According to a press release, during the meeting, a number of, quote, future proposals for cooperation between the two universities in many study programs and scientific research centers that will contribute to enriching and developing the abilities and levels of students and faculty members." End quote. In London, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal presided over the presentation of the 2023 Queen Elizabeth Prize for Engineering Award ceremony held at the Prince Philip House. The Princess Royal is a Royal Fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering. In Windsor, His Majesty King Charles III of the United Kingdom presided over an investiture ceremony held at Windsor Castle. And finally, in Paris, Her Royal Highness Princess Maria Carolina of Bourbon-Two-Sicilies took to social media on Sunday to announce that she had a lovely Sunday lunch with her parents, their Royal Highnesses Prince Charles and Princess Camilla of Bourbon-Two-Sicilies, Duke and Duchess of Castro. The princess also shared photos of her holding a rose, posing in front of beautiful purple flowers, standing in front of an elevator smiling, and posing in front of a mirror next to an elevator door. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, February 8th with all the latest royal news. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful evening and a great day tomorrow. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, take care, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.